Hello to all the good people of the state of Illinois, and welcome to our roundtable discussion. My name is State Representative Dan Caulkins, and I'm joined by several of my colleagues who are excited to be here today. We're going to have some conversations about what's going on in Springfield and learn a bit more about our two newest members to the Illinois Freedom Caucus who've joined us in Springfield. Today we have Representative Jed Davis and David Freese. Of course, also with us at the roundtable today is our chairman, State Representative Chris Miller, and the Illinois Freedom Caucus founding member as well, State Rep Brad Halbrook. So without further ado, gentlemen, let's get right into our conversation. First, to our new members, Jed and David. Well, we're so glad to have you two with us today to join. You guys joined our caucus this spring. And we've gotten to know a lot more about you as we go along here in Springfield. This has been some long hours and probably some things that are pretty new to you. But let's take some time here and let the people learn a little bit more about you. So let's talk about you and your family and where your home district is. So David, maybe you'd like to lead off.
Sure. Well, first about my family. Married 33 years to a phenomenal woman. 2 kids. I have a son. He's a senior in high school, and my daughter's a sophomore. The district that I represent is the 115th district, which is all our parts of Monroe, Randolph, Perry, Jackson, and Washington. And this is my second term. Excited to be here and representing the conservative values of Southern Illinois. And glad to be a member of the Freedom Caucus.
And your son's a baseball player.
He is, yeah.
Actually, pretty dang good.
He does okay. He's a pitcher. Went to a game last night. I skipped out of here after a session, and they beat Oakville 12-0. He pitched the game. He gave up 1 hit.
Oh, that's great. Jed, a little bit about you and your background. We're really glad to have you here in Springfield, with your civilian experience in education. Let the folks know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great being here. I represent the 75th, which is a lot of Kendall County, a little bit of Grundy, and then slivers of LaSalle, DeKalb, and Will. Been married 23 years. It's easy. Actually, it's an easy one for me because we got married in 2000, so I can just do the math pretty easy. But we have 4 children. Our youngest we adopted out of foster care, so we're foster parents. My oldest is engaged, and my youngest still wears pull-ups, so there's a big gamut on the home front there. But I'm very honored to be here. It is a blessing to represent the great people of the 75th.
That's great. And your background in education, you've been a real proponent of, I guess, alternative type of an education rather than just going to public schools.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the school board president of a private Christian school up in Yorkville, have been for probably 12 or 13 years. They just voted me on for 1 more year, so I guess we're doing an okay job up there. But it is a lot of fun, and it's been very trying the last few years in our dealings with the state of Illinois.
And your school's doing really well. And we're glad to have you and your experience here in Springfield. Education is a big component of what we do here. We all feel like the money should follow the student. We should have school choice. And your experience in that field brings a lot of credibility to that quest. Well, all of us, we all know how hard it is to run for public office. So, to the both of you, what really fired you up? What gave you the impetus to put your name in the ring?
Well, it was one of those things for myself. It was seeing what was going on in Springfield and understanding and realizing that things needed to change. And you can complain about things or you can get involved. And so I decided to throw my hat in the ring, got involved, and here I am. For better or for worse.
No, for much better. Listen, we're really happy to have you. I don't think we mentioned that you are an attorney.
I am, yeah. Private practice, solo practitioner right now. I practice primarily in Randolph County, which makes things challenging being here, several days out of the week. But I have a phenomenal secretary who takes care of business while I'm here, and we communicate via text message and emails, and still trying to manage the cases that I have.
It's great to, and as a citizen legislator, I mean, the sacrifices that it requires for us, all of us, to take time off from our careers to actually come and do the people's work here in Springfield. And we're really, really happy, David, to have you here. Jed, I know there was some issues in your new House district that fired you up to run through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
To let people kind of know how that worked out.
Yeah, for sure. Referencing back to the school where I sit as a board member, we wanted to give parents the freedom of choice back in the chaos of the last couple of years, and the governor ultimately ended up suing us. So we landed in a courtroom a couple different times on that front. And I just wondered, where in the world is my representative? Like, why am I on an island? I just feel alone. So I just started kind of digging in and was just kind of shocked at what I discovered and said, we deserve better. I deserve better as a constituent of the 75th. So I just felt the call and rose up and ran the gauntlet. And it was quite the experience. But we're here, so very grateful to be here.
Oh, that's great. And we're thankful to have you. I know from my own personal experience, I come out of the healthcare industry, and all of the problems that we had with providing homes for developmentally disabled adults and also an assisted living facility. And that was kind of my issue to get started. Of course, there are a lot of other things that were going on in our district, and I felt like it was my turn to step up and carry the banner for the now the 88th district. So that's where I come from. And I know, Chris, you come out of a farming background.
Well, I know most of my life I spent complaining about what the politicians were doing to us and not for us. And I know it seemed like the solution for every problem was to tax more, borrow more, spend more, regulate more. And there was an opportunity where my seat actually was an open seat. The former state rep, Reggie Phillips, had that. And we also had a former senator from Coles County, Max Coffey. And they called me up one day and asked me if I'd be interested in running. And, it was a big decision because it's a big job. And so I threw my hat in the ring, and we won the first primary and got elected, and I'm starting my third term.
That's great. And, it's really good to have that point of view and your great family background. Brad, I know you were here and left and came back, decided to come back. I don't know if that's what that says about your mental capacity, but as a founding member of the Freedom Caucus, we're really happy to have your knowledge and your institutional knowledge.
Yeah, well, Dan, I had a small business. Had just a few employees, and we were being told by our politicians some stuff that just didn't make any sense, and it just didn't add up. So I got around a group of people. We decided to make an effort, and here we are. And so, as we continue every day, we see how much of a vacuum there is in truth, logic, and common sense. And that's what we're all about, is to bringing truth and logic and common sense. And so that's kind of why I got into this thing and why I can continue to stay in it. Truth, logic, and common sense.
It's great to have your background here and help us navigate through some of these situations that we've never experienced before. So your experience, you're fighting for conservative values here in Springfield. You've joined the Freedom Caucus. This is your first term. Jed, what do you think? How's it worked out?
It's been a ride. It's very interesting, but well worth the fight. We need to ring the bell of freedom and liberty down here because I think people have forgotten that. And to be on common ground with the Freedom Caucus is great. I ran on a platform of freedom and liberty. So when people are saying, well, why would you join this group? It's like, why wouldn't I be a member of the Freedom Caucus? They actually have a platform that is worth standing upon and worth representing. And from all the doors that I knocked, contrary to what you might read in the media, I know that it is the voice of the people from my district, that is truly what they desire. So it is great to, it can be awfully lonely down here at times, so it is really great to have good colleagues that can support and propel you along the path of freedom.
You're a very welcome addition to the caucus, and your passion and your experience is really what we're all about. And David, This is your second term. Hopefully, your experience as a Freedom Caucus member has been beneficial for you.
Oh, absolutely.
You fit right in. I mean, your values, your district, your voting, bills that you carry, all fit in with what values that we're promoting.
Yeah, and just pick up on what you guys have said. Truth, logic, and common sense. We have people that lobby us for tax incentives to grow their business, and we see individual bills cater to individual industries or businesses, which is I find extremely frustrating as a small business. Instead of targeting individual businesses, hey, let's do tax reform for the entire state. Let's do work comp reform for the entire state. Let's affect laws that affect all of us in a positive way. So maybe we can stop people from leaving our state, and maybe they'll want to come to our state. Wouldn't that be a welcome sight?
Be great. Yeah, and that's really I think the crux of the problem is that we continue to have to make this special legislative efforts to attract or keep a business, particular business, when we should be concentrating on fixing the whole state, giving everyone an opportunity to stay and work and prosper and attract new businesses to come here and build our economy and give people, particularly in Southern Illinois, more opportunities. So anything else anybody wants to add before we
Dan,
sign
I might
off?
throw in just the fact that one of the reasons we're here, or one of the multiple reasons we're here, is defend the truth, defend life at every level. And I think that's really, really important. Like Representative Freeze talked about, is all these kind of one-offs to support this or that business or bring in. We've got to get government out of the business of picking winners and losers, okay? We need much reform at multiple levels. And I think at that point, when we get that reform, that's what I think we're all here about, is get the reform done, and that will grow the economy, that will grow our families and our businesses in the state.
For everybody in the state,
Everybody.
not just a small segment.
Right, not just a small geographic area.
Correct.
We want to improve life for everyone here. And I know, Chris, you're very, very outspoken in a way, very passionate. That's not a negative. I mean, you're very passionate, about what drives us, where our north center is.
Well, I think it's important that we understand that different caucuses reflect different legislative priorities, and I know that was one of the things that brought the Illinois Freedom Caucus to birth. Was it seemed like that we had somewhat strayed away from the North Star of conservatism, which would be the Constitution and the Republican Party platform. And I know that there are 7 fundamental principles that drive conservatism, with individual liberty, limited government, the rule of law, fiscal responsibility, fair markets, the sanctity of life, and peace through strength. And those are all ideals that make us have the ability to create an atmosphere where we can be free. And that's what we want to do, is promote freedom and liberty. And we want to be a voice for the voiceless, because a lot of times the lobbyists and special interest groups are screaming the loudest, and so they get the attention. And I know that the people that we represent are at home going to work every day, and they don't have time to come to Springfield and try to get people to do what needs to be done. And so I know that one of the things that the Illinois Freedom Caucus attempts to do is to be a voice for those people, because we live amongst them, and we know what they're thinking and know their thoughts, and we need to advocate for taxes reform. We need to advocate to point out this sham that they call the Green New Deal, which is really the Green Bad Deal. And it's actually a war on Southern Illinois, because fossil fuel, coal and oil and natural gas is the lifeblood of the economy where we live, as well as agriculture. And education reform, our education system has gone woke, and woke needs to be, the wokeification of our children needs to die, and the communities where we have schools should reflect the values of that particular community. And we need to get back to being energy independent. And we're going to advocate for all those things that are going to make Illinois great again.
That's great. Well, thank you all very much for being with us today. And it's I'm sure the folks out there are better informed and to get to know you. We're pleased to have you in our caucus, a part of our caucus. It's been really I think invigorating for us to get some new folks in, and particularly people with your experience and background and commitment to the conservative principles that we all stand for. So this is Dan Caulkins from the 88th District. We're here today with our little round table. We really do appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back with you again very shortly as the legislative session continues to grind on. Until then, until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you soon.